Okay, we are going to move to, what's that? Did you have something? Oh, okay. We had on the agenda Governor Herbert, who couldn't make it, so we do have Lieutenant Governor Cox. Want to recognize him and Tammy here. So we're going to we'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be with you this morning. I often remark when I attend meetings or speaking opportunities that my job is to disappoint people. So, Spencer, I'm glad I did not disappoint in disappointing you today. I apologize. The governor, we had some things come up this morning, and he asked me if I'd be willing to come down, and I jumped at the opportunity. So I'm excited to be here. I'm glad I got here in time to hear from those students. That was incredibly impressive, and I can guarantee you that looking at my schedule today, that will be the best part of my day, and so I'm excited that I was able to be here for that. Also, the real reason I came is I wanted to figure out the Regents scholarship. My brother's a counselor, and I have a junior this year, and both my brother and my wife were really angry at the changes. So I'm glad I get to go back and now report to them that I kind of think I know what those changes were. Just a reminder to the board that I had to be reminded of myself this morning. Those changes did pass unanimously in the legislature, so there must be something right about it, I need to go back and look at that legislation again to remind myself what it was. So I will do that, and hopefully we can help be able to clarify with our concerned parents and students and counselors and constituents on making sure we get that right. But I want to thank the board for your service. The governor asked me specifically to do that. We appreciate. We know that this is a very difficult task that you have. I recognize completely that what you do is far more important than about 98% of the things that I do, and you don't get near enough credit for that. So thank you. I know it's really hard, especially when you're working with students and families and so many different interests. Governance, just to be honest, governance when it comes to education in our state is really difficult. It just is. There are so many people with their hands on the wheel. I recognize that every governor runs as an education governor, and I'm glad they do, and I'm glad they should. And then I end up reminding people all the time that governors have very little to do with education in our state, except, of course, having the bully pulpit, which is important, and we do release a budget every year, and this year is no exception. That will be coming out very soon. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to that. I know who won't be looking forward to it, and that's members of the legislature who rarely look at it or read it at all. And I can say that because I was one, and I never even cracked the governor's budget when I was in the legislature. So it's this interesting thing we do right every year, and you do play a very critical role in policy making and in the decisions that affect my children. So thank you. I still have 3 kids in public school. 2 in high school and 1 in elementary, and they get a wonderful education, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank those in leadership, and I know it's that time of year when we reevaluate leadership, and want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your service, and all of you. It's been a great year. We've thoroughly enjoyed working with you. My purpose here today is we wanted to share copies of the 10-year plan that we've been working on. I know many of you have been involved. We've had lots of discussions. This is something that has dominated Tammy's life for 2 years, I think, and she continues to persist. And we're grateful for her efforts in helping us work through this. The governor's message is the importance of uniting and focusing. And and this is a message that he shares often. He believes that that is the Utah way. It's a message he shared with our president when he was here on Monday, that you get a lot more done when you try to bring people together, and that's what we're attempting to do here, is bringing all of those governance roles together with a vision. Where there's a vision, people succeed, and we want to make sure that we're walking in lockstep. Of course, we have disagreements on occasion, and that's the way that these institutions were formulated, and for good reason. But when we try to work through those issues, I think we can get a lot more accomplished for you. So. The Education Excellence Commission started working this by analyzing all of the existing education plans that are out there, and there are several, including the legislature's plan, the State Board of Education, the Board of Regents and Technical Colleges, Prosperity 2020, just to name a few. Toward the end of the process, we also incorporated the work of Envision Utah, as well as the National Council of State Legislatures. So the commission reviewed all of this, all of the research and best practices on what works in education. We've heard from our friends in higher ed, and of course our public ed experts. I really want to thank the State Board of Education for being represented in this process. Superintendent Dixon, thank you for your tremendous work and heavy lift in helping us to bring this together. Of course, former Chair Dave Crandall and your current Chair Mark Huntsman were also very influential in bringing your input to our staff and the staff members here. I can't thank them enough for all of their great work, again, in helping us compile the research and best practices. So the education roadmap, as we're calling it, will have a formal launch actually next month. But we wanted to make sure and get it into your hands, so you could look through that and be prepared as questions come. A new website is almost finished. It is posted now on the governor's webpage, and legislators will also be receiving copies shortly. We will be reaching out to local school boards, the PTA, and community councils, and make sure that they have access as well. So just as a foundation for this plan, it's built on increased community and family support. That's the governor just believes that that's the key to great education. It starts locally, and parents and families should be involved at every step, with a heavy emphasis on innovation and collaboration. You'll notice there are four focus areas in this plan. We want to focus on ensuring early learning, strengthening and supporting our wonderful educators, making sure that we have access and equity throughout our systems, and then finally and critically, an emphasis on completing certificates and degrees, one of the areas where Utah lags too often a little bit behind. And so those are the four focus areas. We have a copy here. Hopefully you all have that. I think we've passed that out already. And we look forward to a continued wonderful partnership. Again, the governor sends his apologies for not being able to be here, but I'm grateful that you were able to allow me a little time on the agenda today. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions or
Very good.
anything else that you want to talk about.
Well, we also appreciate being able to work with the governor and you and Tammy and the staff, and trying to bring betterments to education. We're looking forward to this next legislative session, and one of the first for us is we had our legislative ask and priorities out early, so we're really anxious to see if the governor's budget is in alignment with that, and if not, we'll probably have some discussions as we move forward. But we value the efforts that you and your staff make. I know they attend a lot of meetings, and it's not an 8 to 5 job, and they're very committed. So we appreciate that. we appreciate you being here today. And
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I can just say on the budget process, it's a fascinating process, a little bit unwieldy at times. We very much appreciate your input and take it very seriously. I will tell you, we are still making adjustments to the budget this week. And so by the end of this week, we hopefully have the final numbers in some of the right spots. And I think you'll be pleased. I hope you'll be pleased, but I'll know for sure at the end of this week. So
we're looking forward to that. So thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for Lieutenant Governor Cox? We also have Tammy Pfeiffer here too, if you want to address any that way.
So if you ask any real questions, she'll be answering them. So.
I'm not seeing him, which is a good sign. And thank you.
Good sign.
Thank you for
Yeah.
all you do for our great state.
Thanks, everybody. Keep up the good work and let us know how we can help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.